Hi loves! Welcome back. So it's time for another chunk of albums to sit through, to go through. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this as quickly as I could because, oh boy, we have a lot to sit through. So yeah, also, I'm sorry for any outside noise because there's construction going on currently, so if there's any construction noise outside, my apologies. So yeah, let's get right into it. Here are my favorite albums of February 2021. Let's get it. So this is the token single album of the month that I wish they would have extended into a EP or even an LP. Well, I mean at least an EP because yeah, I think these kinds of songs really work well as an EP when it comes to displaying Seungyeop's style for the very first time. The vibes on this album are really just laid back, chill, and just overall gives you a good old time. Like Clicker is a song that gives you really happy vibes, and then you have songs like Superstar that gives you a very nice laid back feeling, which makes you want to sit down on your couch and just be lazy on it. And I really love the collaborator that he chose for this song Superstar, which is Cheese. I really like the voices, the synergy of the voices together. Yeah, I think they really work well together. Overall, I think this single album really needs to be made into an EP. Like seriously, I think that this is probably a really good single album. Possibly will make it by the end of the year as one of my absolute favorite single albums of the year. No matter what you say, you got me flying on faith. Miss Chungha came through and gave us a 21-course meal. What do we do to deserve this? Oh my god. The quirk about Currencia is that it is split into 4 distinct sections and 4 distinct acts, which I am really happy about because I love this kind of distinct act division to cater to songs that have a specific vibe or a specific mood and lump those songs in there to create a sort of cohesive flow throughout the album, because having interludes in between each act definitely helps aid the listeners through a auditory journey better, in the sense that what kind of sounds they're going to expect in this section of the album. Are they going to expect something more upbeat, something more brash, something more chill, laid back, or something more sentimental? The interludes of this album definitely helped in guiding, especially since the album is 21 tracks long, so listeners need all the help they can get. And also some of the songs in there are not really clicking it for me as much as the rest of the album is. It's 21 songs. I'm not expecting myself to like every single song of the album, but for an album with this many songs, I'm actually surprised at how great of a time I was having with this album. There are plenty of songs in there which I absolutely adore. Some of the singles that she released last year, like Stay the Night and Play, featuring Changmo, and also the recent releases such as X, which has this really sentimental feeling to it. Some of the more uplifting songs like Flying on Faith and Chill really make me happy. And Lemon is the collab that I didn't know I needed. This is a fantastic collab. Cole is also the artist that was featured in my last month's favorite albums of the month. So if you guys discovered Cole through this collab with Chungha, go check out Idealism. That was also a really great album. 10 out of 10 would recommend that as well. But yeah, I think this is a really amazing first album endeavor by Chungha, and I think she did a really great job. There are some patches in there that needs to be fixed, but I think that for a first album endeavor, this is a wonderful step in her career, and I couldn't be prouder of her. Surprisingly, this is CIX's most cohesive album to date? Question mark. I really like a lot of their albums they put out and a lot of their B-sides they put out, but this album felt the most cohesive to their concept to date. Okay, being honest right here, I was pretty skeptical about them, changing directions to a more wholesome concept. And that's really ironic for me because I really love wholesome concepts in K-pop. I love songs that make me happy. I love songs that make me smile. But the idea of CIX, who has been doing, for as long as I know, have been doing these really dark, moody concepts that are just really, it fits them like a glove, you know what I mean? So when they deviate away from such concept, it definitely felt strange, and I was a bit skeptical about it. But as soon as I got into the album, my perception of that literally changed, and the more I listened to it, the more it made sense. Like, CIX has done a fair share of like wholesome songs. Like from their first mini album, you have The One and Imagine, and in their third mini they have like the iconic Rebel, which is amazing. And Cinema felt like Rebel, but in a more lighter sense, you know what I mean? Like Rebel is darker, but Cinema is Rebel's lighter younger brother, it's more wholesome, it's more happier, but it does have that CIX charm to it. And each of the tracks on the album complemented the theme of happiness and just dreamlike qualities to it. Just like the album name itself, Hello Strange Dream. It has that kind of dreamlike quality to it. Like, some of my favorite songs on the album are Young, which has that kind of like very grungy punk rock like aesthetic to it. It definitely felt like a trip to the beach. A murderous trip to the beach. I don't know why, but I thought of like a murderous road trip summer movie. Like you and your friends are packing up, and then suddenly halfway through the tire combusts, and then suddenly the waves become bigger, and then suddenly the sky becomes dark, and then suddenly everything just flips over its head. Yeah, it definitely has that kind of vibe. And also, can we all just talk about Stairway to Heaven real quick? Stairway to Heaven. That's it. That's the tweet. What a wonderful album this is. And I feel like this is a CIX album that will grow on me over time, and I will end up liking it just as much as I do with every one of their other albums. I still think that CIX really only makes quality albums only, and will continue to do so for the rest of their lives, hopefully, if they continue to do what they do best. I'm so proud of my boys. Wonderful job.
So tell me the truth.
Well, just like the album's title itself, this was an amazing discovery. I have no idea who Jae-yoona, alright. I don't even know who Jae-yoona is, but when I stumbled upon his song Foolish, I was really taken aback by how groovy and funky this is. This entire album reminded me of if Chung Se-woon would ever make an English album, it would be this one. Like, the entire album has like really like acoustic sounds in it, but also there's like some flourishes of funk in it, which really adds that kind of extra spice into it, as well as some of the elements in this album really having that sort of like very flirty, almost kind of like groovy energy to it that makes you just wanna get up and dance, you know what I mean? I also like the fact that it's like mostly in English, or like all in English, which makes this like an all English album, which makes it really interesting, I would say. I don't even think there's any Korean in there at all, and I mean, there might be some Korean in there, but I think it's exclusively English. But hey, whatever the language the album is, I think this is a really fan-flippin-tastic album that I think all of you should check out if you're a huge fan of like Chung Se-woon's more punch you in the face acoustic stuff like Just You and Feeling, and as well as the albums that came with it. I think that you guys are in for a treat when it comes to discovering this album. Good job, I like it.
This ain't about you. This ain't about you.
Wonho came back and snapped. This album snapped. Okay, The thing about this album is that while all the tracks are really cohesive on their own, cohesively as a body of work, it could have need some reshuffling every once in a while. Like, you know, maybe this track can go up here, maybe this track can go down here. Like, for example, there are some tracks in the middle. There is a track in the middle where it's like a ballad track. Yeah, for example, there is a track in the middle of We Need, which is more of like a very mellow song, and then you have Flash, which is also kind of mellow song. I think it would have benefited him a lot more if he were to do it like this kind of album placement, album track listing, just so that this track can flow from a more bright upbeat sound to a more slightly darker sound to a sentimental sound, which is more slower. I think this kind of flow of the album would definitely be a lot more suitable for this album and the track listing and the songs that it contains. But otherwise, each individual track shines on its own really nicely, and I really like the energy and quality of each of the songs provide, especially the title track Lose and the B-side Devil. These two songs really have that kind of like hide under your bed, there's a monster out there coming for you energy to it, as well as the very funky and very groovy song Ain't About You featuring Kiara. I'm also pretty sure that that's also all in English. I'm not so sure. Probably like some of the songs in there are like just all in English and I didn't know about it, just like the J Yuna album. But like, I mean, I'm all here for it. You know, we love K-pop idols showing their English skills and branching out other than Korean songs. It's nice to hear them make English songs, you know? Okay, I would like to thank one of my good friends for introducing me to this album, because I wouldn't have found out about it otherwise. This album, if you like the last month's album Zennials by Love X Stereo, this album is it for you. I think this has that kind of like really disco groovy quality to it that I think that makes you just want to get up and, you know, shake your ass on the dance floor. Yeah, each individual track on the album is very just groovy, disco-y, upbeat, thumping, dance floor hitting, everything you want in a very cool retro album. I have not much to say about this other than the fact that it's very vibrant and upbeat, and I think that once COVID blows over and we are all, you know, able to have parties again, this would be an amazing party album. Like, seriously, I'm gonna host a party. I'm inviting all of you to come to my party, and I'm gonna blast this album as the party playlist. This is amazing party album. Wow. If you like Korean R&B with a more like nuance to it, then I recommend to check out Gaussian by Yura, because this album not only has like your, like, you know, it's like a R&B album, but also it has like a nice flourishes of like intricate sound design in it. Like, there are some parts of the album where it's just so groovy and so upbeat, but also it provides a like unpredictable feeling to it. Like, there's like glitches here and there. There's like parts where the voices just go, you know what I mean? Like where the voice just goes, pans across your earphones, you know what I mean? It's a very unique R&B album, and the woman herself, her voice is also really unique, which really matches the whole uniqueness of the entire album. I absolutely really had a good time with this. From start to finish, this is a very fan-flippin-tastic album. I think my favorite songs on there are Pink, Mimi, the title track, and the, what's it called again? Airplane Mode, which is also really good. But also there's like other songs like the last song, RAL 9002 featuring Haze, which is an excellent album closure, I would say. Wonderful way to end an album. I think this is also one of a really cohesive album. Like the Wonho album on its own, each individual track just shines well on its own, and just it makes for a really amazing listening experience overall. I really want to check more of her stuff out, because I saw her on Dingo Freestyle, Killing Voice, and her voice is phenomenal. Seriously, she kills it live. I really want to check more of her stuff out.
볕이 파라솔의 빛은 뜨거웠어 난 도망갈래 소를 피했어.
Modern Orange is a really interesting name. It's very hard to find on search engines though, but like I'm really happy to be able to find this. If I had found, let me just tell you guys this, if I had found this before making the like debuts, 2020 debuts video, this person would have been in that video because they debuted it last year and I just found out about it. So if I had found out earlier, they would have been in the video, but I didn't. So there we go, just pretend that it's there. But yeah, Orange Broadcasting Studio is such a really interesting chill hop album. If you like anything similar to like Kid Wine's Decanting from last month, I think you might also dig this album in the similar sense that it's very chill and really nice chill hop listen. I have a very soft spot for chill hop albums. I think that they really satiate my, chill hop, lo-fi, hip-hop loving soul. I don't care what anyone says. If you give me an album full of just lo-fi, hip-hop, chill hop bops, I'm gonna eat it up. There's no questions asked. And also there's one of the tracks in there that I really wish that they would have made it into a full song. Like seriously, why didn't you want to make it into a full song? Like, wait, hold on, let me just look for it. Summer Crime Scene, there it is. Why isn't Summer Crime Scene a full song? Seriously, that could have been my absolute favorite song off the album had it been a fuller song, but it's only a 1 minute interlude. Seriously, make it a full song. Release the full song. Give me the full song. I love this song so much. But yeah, there are also other songs on the album that are also really amazing listens as well, like Caffeine Alcohol and Ready Player One, which are some of my absolute favorite songs on the album, as well as the last song, Link in Bio, featuring China Korea. Wonderful way to end an album. That is like such a really cute song as well. Yeah, it's a really nice chill hop listen. I really recommend you guys check it out.
알 수 없어
Now, if you like dream pop or like just nice synth rock or like really nice dreamy soundscapes, this album is it. From start to finish, there is like a really like high teen movie soundtrack, like a coming of age movie soundtrack hidden in there, and this could have been played in any like teen movies or like coming of age movies and it would fit right into place in there. It's just full of really nice dreamy rock sounds that just makes you feel nostalgic, and I absolutely really adore this album to bits. From start to finish, I had a blast. Well, I mean, I already said this for like every album on this list. I mean, I had a blast listening to every album, but like, man, this album makes me feel like I'm in some sort of like young adult or like coming of age film where I'm the main character in that film, and this is such main character soundtrack material. It gives me like, this album sounds the way a John Green book feels, you know what I mean? It sounds like a John Green novel for some reason. I don't know why I was thinking of this, but if any John Green novel had a soundtrack, it would have been this album, because it literally sounds like one. Like just the overall discovery and just trying to look for answers in life and with your best friend and just thinking about life together. This kind of album really has that kind of similar energy to it, and I dig it.
사실 아직도
Now, I would say that this album is like your typical like chill hop, hip hop album, but then at some moments of the album, there are some parts of the album that makes you just wanna, huh? That happened? Huh? Like halfway through like certain songs, there is some like glitching, there is some surprises in there that makes you just wanna jump, and it made me confused. I was having a good time with this album, but then you just gotta throw a curveball at me? What is this? But yeah, it really makes for a really unique listening experience, and that kind of like sudden curveball in my R&B album is, I mean, it shocked me the first time I listened to it. I was doing my work one day while listening to this album, and then suddenly the album just goes bzz, 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 and I'm just like, huh? What? But yeah, it's really unique. I like it. It's fun. It makes the album listening experience really, really fun. I like this. Yeah, if you like your R&B or chill hop to be more, you know, kind of experimental, while also having songs that, you know, are sentimental, go give this album a listen, I guess, because honestly, I think you'll have a great time with this. This album is so cute! This album is cute. I love this album. This album is so fluffy and soft and sweet and delicious, and oh my god, my little heart just can't take it. It's so cute. I have the softest spot on earth for albums that are just, you know, sugar sweet, love struck, first love kind of album, especially if like the vocals are like really airy and wispy and sweet and cute, and oh my god, my little heart can't take it. This album is cute. Happily Ever After, cutest song on earth. I love her vocals so much. Kim Jina has some of the cutest vocals I've heard out there. Oh my god, this album is so adorable. What did I do with it? Oh no. But yeah, I love the acoustic the acoustic songs that run through the album, the very happy acoustic songs that really just decorate the entire album from start to finish, especially Kim Jina's vocals that really just nicely puts little tiny sprinkles on top of each song. It's like, you know, she decorates the songs with sprinkles and frosting and sweets, and it's adorable. What more can I say about this? This album is adorable. Can I just talk about the album art real quick? Like seriously, isn't that the cutest album art you've ever seen? It looks like it could be a candy box, a little candy box packaging. It's so cute. I love it. I love it so much.
I'm too awkward. No road to go, babe.
Okay, I'm not so sure how to pronounce this name exactly. Do you pronounce it as oat or O8 or what? I don't know. I'm just gonna pronounce it as O8. It's probably pronounced something else, but I'm rolling with it. This album is really unique, I would say. This one, I don't know how to pinpoint the exact genres this album is. It's kind of grunge rock slash ambient pop slash noise pop slash indie rock album. I have no idea how to explain this album, to be honest, because each of the tracks on the album is so unique. Its soundscape is very just grainy and grungy and almost like to the almost rock but not quite rock, you know what I mean? But it's also rock, but it's not quite rock. This album is really confusing to explain, but I mean, it's on the list, so of course I like it. But yeah, this is a really unique album that I just want you guys to listen to it for yourselves, because honestly, my little pea brain couldn't comprehend the like uniqueness of the album. I couldn't explain it with my own words. What the heck? But yeah, it's a very unique listen. Definitely serene one if I ever heard one myself, but yeah, it's just something else, you know?
My heart is break, nigga, yeah. There's nothing to get from me crazy.
If I had to name the best discovery of February 2021, this dude is it. The Changy is the artist that you all must be listening to right now. Go listen to him. Go hype him up. His videos have like what, under 100k views, and that's a crime. It should be a crime. I'm seriously shocked how an artist this good still has like less than 100k views per video. K-pop YouTube should hype. No, the K-pop community should go hype this man up. Seriously. What the heck? This album is phenomenal. Well, I mean, it's not that perfect, but I'm mind blown at how not many people are talking about this album and this dude in general, because honestly, I love his style of music so much. The entire Wicked Night album definitely sounds like if the Changy were to listen to After Hours by The Weeknd, and it's like, oh, I can do that myself, and tries to make one of his own. This is his After Hours, actually. So, and did he succeed in doing it? Well, kinda. There are definitely like, there's a story in this album, I would say. I really like the thought process of this entire album. I like the album in concept. The track listing of it could have been better, I would say. After the interlude happened, there is a part of the album that kind of feels out of place with the album. I definitely think that the third act of the album could benefit from being a sort of like a prologue or like a villain origin story of sorts. You know, this album is like the... I'm just gonna have to say it. This album is the rich antagonist in a movie soundtrack. And you can't change my mind. Seriously. Listen to this album and tell me that this isn't something that a Disney villain would suddenly just burst out in the middle of a Disney film. Seriously, Wicked Night is the ultimate rich antagonist / Disney villain soundtrack. Seriously, put this song in the same playlist as Jamie Cullum by Davi, Gotcha by Park Ji-hoon, Let It Go by Ho Young-sang, maybe even put What I Say by Victon while you're at it, and you got yourself the ultimate Disney villain soundtrack. That kind of like really kooky, that kind of really like just sinister energy, but also is really like extravagant in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It's so Disney villain soundtrack. I have no other words to describe it other than Disney villain. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, the album definitely could use a better pacing. The last few songs of the album definitely could serve as a villain origin story of sorts, and then the interlude comes before the rest of the album from like the first and second act would come soon after, you know what I mean? Just so that it creates a much nicer narrative of a villain that used to be good, but then like stuff happened and then he turns really evil and he wants to take down the hero and stuff like that. I think it would have made for an awesome concept album idea. Seriously, this album could have a potential to be an awesome concept album in a way, and that really makes me happy. This is an amazing effort coming from someone that I never knew existed, and this is easily one of the best finds of the month. Honestly, I'm super impressed by him. Wonderful job. I can't wait to see what he comes out with next.
Don't let me stop, I would better go forward to the lead.
Now, I don't know what is it this month with like artists releasing songs or entire albums in English, like entirely in English. This is another one of those, but I love the energy on this album. It's so indie rock. It's quintessential indie rock, I would say. And I love the frontman's vocals. I think his vocals really adds an extra mojo to the album that really elevates the experience. It's the kind of album that you listen to when you are feeling lazy and you just want to, you know, lie on your bed all day and think about life. But also it makes a really good traveling album, you know what I mean? Like, put this album on when you're commuting in public transport and it makes for a really amazing experience with the scenery and the buildings and stuff like that. I also have not much to say about this album. It's a really amazing album filled with amazing songs, rock influence songs, you know what I mean? That kind of really adventurous, almost kind of like daring, bold kind of album that really kicks you in the face. So go check it out.
널 알기 전으로 돌아갈 수 없어.
This is the folklore album of February 2021. Yup. I mean, like, there's always gonna be like one of those albums that's gonna come out every single month, huh? But yeah, I welcome it. Similar to last month's Jang Pil-soon album, this album is a really, really amazing indie folk listen. Each of the tracks are really, really beautifully made. They're just handmade with love and care, and you can actually feel it in the songs. You can actually feel it in each of the songs on the album. I really, really admire and adore the emotion that runs through the vocals of the singer, and I really, really love her voice so much. Her voice decorates each and every track perfectly. There are some flourishes of acoustic in there, some ballads, maybe a little bit of jazz in there, and it really, really makes, and also some folk in there, which really, really makes for a really nice and comforting album. This is an album that is just pure chicken soup for the soul. This is an album that your mom sings you to bed every single night. It has that kind of vibe to it. I really, really adore this album. I would really love to listen to it again if I am in the mood to. It just the kind of album that you want to put on at night, tuck in your sheets, and just, you know, enjoy the songs and enjoy the album, you know.
난 six the frost on you 깝치면 골로 가 띠껍대도 다르다는 말야 족보.
This album might have been my favorite hip-hop album of the month. Surprisingly so. I literally had zero expectations going to this album. I kept my expectations way down to the freaking floor going to this album because, you know, as far as hip-hop releases go this month, the handful of duds just turned into a bigger handful of duds, and don't really vibe with a lot of the hip-hop releases from this month. So going to this one, I really just kept my expectations way, 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 way down to the floor. But coming out of this album, what an amazing album this is. I love this album so much. Oh my god. This album is really just raw and unfiltered and grimy and dirty and slimy and really, really edgy in a way. Like, it's the kind of album that you put together with your friends in the basement that is under the local bar. It's where it's a secret hideout. You just put the album together with your best friends. You know, what an amazing premise for the album, right? Just, you know, take a day off with your best friends and just go to the secret hideout at the bottom of the local bar and just cook something up real quick. You know what I mean? This album also has like the kind of homemade energy to it, in a sense that it feels really unpolished, and that's what's amazing about this album. This is an album that you put on and just go around your local neighborhood and just smashing windows of people's cars, or like smashing the windows of people's houses. You know, it's like similar to last year's album, what Boy to Man by Vincent, where it's like a album that you listen to when you run away from home with your best friends and you just fuck shit up and just go around your local neighborhood and just, you know, commit crimes and smash windows with it. I don't know. And just go to the drain, like the tunnel, the drain nearby. You go to the sewers nearby and hang out there for the rest of the night while you just talk about how life sucks. Yeah, this album feels like it. Yeah, there it is. That's what I was talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This album is intimidating, but this album is also like an adventurous night with your best friends, and yeah. It's really, really cool album. I also like how 30 is a rap ensemble, because groups in hip-hop are really rare in the Korean hip-hop scene. I've only can name like a handful of acts where they're like in a group, because it's a mostly soloist dominated scene that is very rare to find like actual units or groups in hip-hop. The only ones I can name from the top of my head are Dynamic Duo, Rhythm Power, PLT, Fancy Child. Like, come on. And I think it makes for a really interesting listening experience because, I mean, there are lots of pros and cons to group configuration, music endeavors in general, but I think that it can really spice up, especially in the hip hop scene, I think it can really spice up a track. Each individual member of the group really adds to the album in the sense that they add like their own flow, their own rhythms, their own textures, and it makes for a really interesting diversity within the album. And I like that. I like that. Well, of course, the boom bap sounds that are lingering throughout the dark boom bap sounds that are lingering throughout the album is really compelling as it is. But what really compels me even more are the way that each member of the group just kind of plays with the rhythms and textures in each of the songs, and it really makes for a really unique listening experience that you really don't hear much in Korean hip-hop albums. And I really adore this album to bits because of it. There are also lots of really interesting textures, musical textures that are in the album. Like, there's glitches, there's like different rhythms here and there, different meters, different parts of the song where they just kind of don't stick the landing of each of the rhythm. I think this is what in music is what we call polyrhythms, but I'm not so sure about that. But like, I like how they keep it really dynamic with like each member's rapping in different rhythm while the beat is doing something else in a different rhythm, and it makes for a really unique listening experience in general. I think, give it some time, I think this might even end up being like one of my top favorite albums of the year by the end of the year. I love this album so much. Wow, I couldn't sing enough praises for it. I don't even know who these guys are. I was expecting way worse for them, but wow, wonderful job. I'm impressed. This album is so sweet and cute. I love it so much. Similar to the CX album earlier, I think this album really fulfills the theme of the concept that Usop was going for. Frankly speaking, I like the concept of his last album better in the sense that he can really pull off that sort of like really dark, mystical, like villain, like devilish villain type of character, you know what I mean? But what ultimately fell flat was the album itself, which didn't really like sell the concept that well, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very fine album as it is, but it didn't really work cohesively with the concept because the songs are half of the album fits the concept, half the album doesn't. But this album fits the concept way better, and I am actually here for it. Each of the tracks on the album really complemented each other in a sense that it's very just full of sweet, wholesome sounds. You have your acoustic songs, you have your ballad songs, you have your jumpy, wholesome songs that sound like an ice cream shop. I will tell you one thing, Sugar sounds like an ice cream shop. I don't know why, but if I were to describe Sugar as a song, it would have been ice cream shop. Like, why did ice cream shop came out in my mind? I have no idea why, but ice cream shop is the thing that made me think of the thing that I think of when I think of Sugar, you know what I mean? Maybe it's because it sounded like, oh my god, speaking of the devil. Yeah, I was gonna say that it sounded like like if you live in Malaysia and there is a ice cream man that goes around your neighborhood every other day, and then the jingle just goes matku kawanku. This album reminds me of that for some reason. Like, it reminds me of the matku jingle for some reason. Yeah, it sounded like that. And then, like, as I was saying it, the ice cream truck just passed my house. What a coincidence! But yeah, it sounded like the Matco jingle for me, but it also sounds the way Magnum ice cream sounds. If you guys know what Magnum ice cream is, oh my god, it's so delicious, but it's so decadent and rich and creamy and full of sweetness, and I don't know, this album sounds like ice cream to me, like a good ice cream. This album also feels like ice cream to me. Love it, love it, love it. What an amazing album. Possibly even my favorite album of the month even. Like, seriously, if this isn't my favorite album of the month, I don't know what is.
과거로 돌아간다 해도
Okay, this album might be my favorite of the month. Okay, hear me out. This album. This album. I don't know why, but I love it. Kwonjina has a really unique and rich tone in her voice that really just shines through the entire album. The entire album also sounds like a Taeyeon release, something similar to her My Voice album, where it's like really like sentimental songs and really just emotional, powerful and forward songs, very honest and truthful, while still offering something like really interesting. Like, you know, there's some slight rock sounds in it. The ballads that she's singing are sung with full force and emotions. It is just a perfect release, and I really, really adore it from start to finish. It's so powerful. Her voice really, really translates well through each of the songs, and it's just felt really honest and pure and special. There's something special about this album that really, really makes me happy, especially the first and last songs of the album, The Way of Us and I Think the Dreamer, are both really amazing album openings and album closures. They possibly might even be like the best album openings and album closures in K-pop album history, like ever, which really, really ties the entire experience up in a nice little bow. It ties the album up in a nice little bow, like, you know. I really couldn't think of any more words to say about this album other than it's so perfect, and it really struck a chord with me. And yeah, it might even be my favorite album of the month even. I don't know, but yeah, it's an amazing album, I have to say. Album of the month material. Okay, I lied. This album is my favorite album of the month. Hands down. Oh my god. SHINee's back, bitches. And they didn't come to play. This album. Oh my god. I love this album so much. It has that SHINee energy that we all know and love. It's so groovy, it's so funky, it's vibrant and upbeat and just SHINee. Everything about this album just screams SHINee to me. Like, you listen to this album and you think, wow, this is a SHINee album. Like, I can spot this album playing from a mile away and I can still tell it's a SHINee album. Like, seriously, it's just so distinctively them, with their like group synergy, their group vocals, their harmonies, as well as the really like groovy sounds that resonate through the album, especially in the songs like Heart Attack and Colde and I Really Want You. They're so vibrant and so energetic that I could not help but go back for more. It is a phenomenal release. What the heck? I didn't expect them to... Well, I mean, I expect great things from SHINee always, but I didn't expect them to come back with a bang like that. Like, what the heck? Wow. If this isn't album of the month material, I don't even know what is. Seriously. I am thoroughly impressed true and true with this release. And yeah, even though the title track, Don't Call Me, it took a while for it to get used, for me to get used to, you know what I mean? I was definitely like taken aback by it at first, but it grew on me properly as the days go by, and I absolutely love it now, as well as the other tracks in the album. Seriously, it makes for a really amazing experience from start to finish, with like some of your more upbeat songs and then ending off with a more slightly mellower release to finish off that kind of happy little ending to it. What a breathtaking album. That album is breathtaking, as Keanu Reeves might say. Now, if it can just stay as my favorite album for longer than 5 seconds,
I dreamed a dream 넌 갈망했어 I dreamed a dream 이 절망했어
Whoops, I lied. Apparently, there's another album that I really like this month. This might be my favorite album of the month. Oh my god. How many albums of the month do I have this month? Seriously. There's so many good albums this month, okay? On and Off came back with a bang. Oh my god. This might even be album of the year. What the heck? They released a masterpiece! I expect great things from their first full-length endeavor, and I'm really happy by the way it turned out. It is such a fantastic way to introduce themselves and their first full-length endeavor. I don't even know where to begin with this album. It's so on and off, you know, it's so vibrant, but it's also really unique at the same time. Like, you have the Realist, which is a very like propulsive synthwave listen, and then you have like your very just unapologetically energetic song in Beautiful Beautiful, the title track. Beautiful Beautiful almost made me shed a tear. It really made me so happy to the point of shedding tears of joy. And that's the thing about On and Off. On and Off always sings like they really enjoy whatever they're doing. Like, you give them any song and they're gonna sing on it with like so much excitement to it. There's so much excitement in their vocals. You can tell that they're excited and enthusiastic by every song that they are given. Like, you give them any sort of concept and they're gonna sing it with passion and energy, and it really translates super duper well in each of the songs on this album. What the heck? I love this album so much because of it. That really earnest, passionate, energetic, exciting singing vocals that they have in this album, as well as the entire concept of the album in general. I love the whole like cyberpunk aesthetic, almost like a video game of some sort. It's as if like Oh My Girl's Non-Stop album was to be written for a boy group and is given like video game aesthetics. It would have been this album. Well, I mean, Oh My Girl is already doing like a board game aesthetic with it, so maybe On and Off is a video game version of it. Maybe they exist in the same world. Shocking. Wait, hold on, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. I retreated to another room because my sister is in it. Okay, hear me out. What if Ghost 9's Wall and On and Off's Beautiful Beautiful existed in the same universe, where the Ghost 9 one are like the villains who try and take over the city with like evil energies, and On and Off are the heroes that went and saved the day? Like, seriously, make this into an RPG game and I would instantly get that game. Like, seriously, make that shit into an RPG game. Like, something along the lines of like what? Persona, or like Cyberpunk 2027. Wait, no, Cyberpunk 2077. Something like that. Some kind of RPG. Billion-dollar idea for a game. Developers, take note of that and maybe give me like 20% of the profit. But yeah, fantastic album. I couldn't have think of a better album that this month can offer. Seriously. The energy this album gives, the wholesome, hopeful vibes, and hopeful feeling that On and Off provides throughout this album, plus just how earnest they are in making music, really makes this album my favorite album of the month. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Psych! This album is it. This album. Dang it. This album. This album. This album. Wow. Oh my god, I keep migrating from place to place just so I can finish this voiceover once and for all, but I think yeah, this current place that I'm in, yeah, I was really excited for it. It was a release that I was really excited for. Arguably, this is one of my, if not the most anticipated release of mine in February 2021. And when it dropped, I wasn't disappointed at all. It really instantly clicked with me, and I think I know the reason why it instantly clicked with me, because essentially this album is basically a pop album disguised as a hip-hop album. Not saying that it's different from all the other hip-hop albums out there, but like it really has that sort of pop production that really propels this album forward. Like, think of it as like an album that would be released by Park Ji-hoon or Cho Seung-yeon. Like, this instantly reminds me of a Park Ji-hoon album, especially his Message album, because there is a nice hybrid between polished pop production as well as the more like indie type R&B and hip-hop sounds, and they fuse together well in harmony. There are a lot of really interesting sounds in there. For example, the future bass in 10 Years Later, or the grunge rock in Brand New World. These two songs, my jam, as well as the title track Joker, which definitely leans onto the more like really laid back R&B style song, definitely more of a darker tone, something similar to The Museum by Colde or Movie by Chung Jin-woo. I really love these two songs so much, and I think, yeah, that's the reason why Joker instantly clicked with me. And this album really, really, truly reflects what it's like to be young and just overall carefree and don't give a shit about the rest of the world, and just put something out there for the sake of entertaining people. And I think that's what he's trying to achieve right here, because as far as I know, dude's pretty young. The last time I checked, isn't he like 16, 17, 18? He's really young. That fact blew my mind, to be honest. But yeah, this album truly encapsulates what it feels like to be young and carefree and just don't give a shit about the rest of the world. And the entire album just felt like that album that he wanted to put out for not only to entertain people, but also just because he likes it and just for his own enjoyment and for the fun of it. And it really, really shines through the entire album. I feel like if you are into something that Park Ji-hoon really would release, or like Cho Seung-yeon, or like stuff from even like Kang Daniel's Cyan album, I think you would really, really like this. And I think this will be a really, really amazing starter album for a lot of you guys out there. I know a lot of my audience would want to get into Korean hip-hop but don't know how to. And a lot of my audience are also huge fans of, like, you know, pop music. This album is your starter album. Seriously, this album might be your gateway into Korean hip-hop if you haven't gotten into it already. I urge you guys to go listen to it right now. This has like the accessibility, this has the like friendliness of a pop production album while still having that sort of charm that a hip-hop album or like a Korean R&B album can offer. And it really makes for a really nice, interesting crossover. It has that kind of crossover appeal that really would appeal to fans of the pop genre, especially at people like myself who really likes pop music a lot. So yeah, I think this happy blend of the best of both worlds is really, really just overall refreshing and really amazing to listen to. And I really, really am happy by the way it turned out. I wasn't disappointed at all with this release. Wow, what a way to debut, am I right? Debut yourself to the rest of the world, introduce yourself to the rest of the world and say, hey, I'm Big Naughty, this is my album, I hope you enjoy it, I made it with lots of heart and soul, I fucking love this, and I hope you love it too. That's one way to debut. I'm so proud of him. Well done. Fantastic album. And that is why this album is my favorite album of the month. Well, I mean, amongst many other albums of the month, I mean, probably I had like 6 favorite albums of the month, you know, but this album truly is my favorite currently, right now, in this time period, right now. This is my favorite, hands down. I love it so much. Man, I could really go on and on about this album, huh? But yeah, we're gonna keep this video to a reasonable length because yeah, I wouldn't want to be rambling for like the next 10 minutes about this album. Gotta keep it to a reasonable length, am I right? Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite releases of the month and what your favorite albums of the month are. Let me know. And what are your expectations for this month? Because honestly, looking at the comeback list for March is freaking wild. It's freaking wild. Oh my goodness. Like what? There's ATEEZ, Icon, very, very. Purple Kiss is debuting, Weekly's coming back, Mirai is debuting, Cypher is debuting, everyone is releasing stuff this month. Oh my god, it's gonna be a heck of a ride. So yeah, let me know if you're excited for any new releases, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys stay safe, take care, and as always, be excellent to each other. Bye, loves!